building and recruiting and promoting products, it was just completely out of my comfort zone, completely like not even in my radar. And so when I made a commitment to build, then God just really paved the way for us. But my debut party, so real quick, and then I'll get into the teaching. My debut party, it had 6 people there, 3 moms and 3 daughters. And I thought it was my first and last party ever. I was doing it just because I thought it was the right thing to do, and then Audrey will leave me alone at that point. I really did. Like, if I could do this, y'all, you guys can just, I'm sharing this to give you hope. But I really thought it was my first and last party. I went all out with the gifts. I had like personalized, handwritten, watercolor type of personalization. And then, and so I wanted to really bless the women. I wanted to overcompensate for fear that they're thinking I'm taking advantage of them, like all that stuff. And I was so afraid during the party. So if this is the table and they're all lined up, Audrey would stand over here and she'll like guide and teach the skincare class. And then when it came time to matching, the foundation, she'll go to the first mom and she's like, Joyce, come over here. And so I'll go over here and it's like, this is her foundation, and then you put it on her. So I said, okay. So then I'll go, as soon as Audrey moves to the next person, I'll grab my daughter's like, here, you put it on her. And then I would like go on the opposite table. And so then Audrey notices that I'm like on the opposite table again. So she's like, Joyce, come over here. And this happened like over and over again. I was that afraid. I just felt like I was not equipped. This is not my thing. And I'm doing this just to go through the process. But y'all, we made over $600 that night, and it blew me away. So out of obedience, out of just the silliness of the thoughts that I had, I went through the process because Audrey said, this is your next step. I did it, and it blew me away. And then that night she says, oh, by the way, we have this career conference. You know, it's in Virginia Beach. I want the ladies to meet you. I want you to hear more about our products and our company. If, since you're going to invest in buying more products, this would be good for you to go. And, through a series of conversations, I'm not going to go into detail about that, but that's a funny story too. I went, and then at career conference, I heard Dawn Dunn speak. She was the last speaker. Audrey was the #1 sales director in that conference. It blew me away because she talked about rejection on stage. That was my #1 fear, is rejection. And then at the end, Dawn Dunn spoke about why she said yes to Mary Kay. And she says, I was doing the area, and I wanted to meet women, and I wanted to be able to share the gospel with them. And she whips out a gospel tract that she still shows today. And I was like, what in the world? How can you have a business that, you can make money and make all the jewelry and cars and all of this stuff and feel like you can be lavished on materially? But when she spoke about how she can connect women to Jesus, I was like, what in the world? Because this company is all about God first, family second, and career third. And we model that. And that's what changed my heart. And that's what changed my life. And that's why I'm here standing before you in this suit today, because of that. So I cannot emphasize enough the power of events. You just never know what you're going to hear. Okay? So all that to say, how much time we have? Okay. I wanted to talk about real quick, and I'll just maybe, about team building, particularly team building notebook. So how many of you have your team building notebook put together? Yay, we have a few. So I'm gonna walk through this, and maybe it'll give you some ideas for how you navigate through your team building notebook. But first, before we team build, I wanna talk about why we team build. Why is that? What's the big deal about team building? Because I can go out and sell a $24 charcoal mask and I'll get instant money, and I don't need anybody else on my team to do that, right? Were you gonna say something, Angel?
Oh, when you asked why we should
Yes.
tell other women, like build confidence.
That's correct. Yeah.
So,
There are all these. Yes, Morgan.
You never know when someone else needs the opportunity of be a Mary Kay consultant.
That's right. You know, don't say no for somebody else.
Yeah.
Don't hold back on their future because you were afraid, right? But from a financial standpoint, team building is where you're going to begin to feel the stability of your income. You know, in sales, you control how much you sell, how often you sell, right? And so it's like up and down. But when you have a community working together, working with you, then that's when the power starts to come together and will build that stable income for you. Is it an easy journey? No, it's not. It's going to require work. So, but that's how God is going to transform you from like, I'm focused about myself and I don't know if I can do this, to I am so excited to see Ann Wagoner debut as a brand new sales director and have her unit. Her unit name is called Truth Unit. And that's what they're all about. And so for me, I get goosebumps just thinking about what it means to see someone rise up when they didn't think they could, to see somebody that has not been poured into and encouraged to the extent that we've connected and shared, and then to see her turn around and do that to other people. And I tell you what, that is actually biblical, right? We're to go and make disciples and to multiply. Our connection, for me, when I think about my relationship with Jesus, it's a series of invitations. It started with Jesus inviting his first disciple to say, come follow me. It started then, come follow me, and then they turned around, come follow me, come join us. And then over hundreds of years, right? Come follow me. To all these hundreds of come follow me, Joyce got connected to Jesus. Isn't that awesome? What if somewhere down the road somebody says, I'm not going to do that? What if? So team building is critical, and I think about Esther 4:14 is our unit name, and there's a whole story behind that. But let me just share with you Esther 4:14, the verse itself. It says, for if you remain silent, for if you don't do anything, for if you remain silent, somebody else will be asked to do the work, and your family will perish. That is the first part of that verse. Think about that, right? If you don't do anything, you're just like in your comfort zone. Somebody else can do this. Well, somebody else will be handpicked, and God will use them and bless them and transform them. And they will grow and multiply. But you will stay stagnant, and then the rest of your family won't benefit from your growth and your yes. Think about that. For if you remain silent, somebody else will be asked to do the work, and your family will perish. But, and then it continues, you have been called into your royal position. You are royalty if you say yes to Jesus. You are the child of the King, man. Like you have access to everything that he's got. And then it finishes off with, for such a time as this. This is your time to rise up. You know, you owe it to yourself, to your family. And don't stop that connection of not inviting. So I think about team building is huge, kind of in multiple levels, but in this business, it's gonna bless you over and over again. Because now you're focused on somebody else and helping them. I mean, that's essentially what we're doing when we're giving a facial. You're focused on them, but it's magnified because now you're multiplying, you're building leaders that are focused on other women, helping other women grow. Isn't that cool? So that's kind of a long description of why I get excited about team building. So before I talk about the notebook itself, because that's really just the, kind of the vehicle to have the conversation, I always talk about the B. If you've been around me long enough, you will know that I always talk about the B. Because I went to my first seminar and they talked about this B right here. And I remember a year, I left that seminar going, when I come back, I'm gonna get that B. And the reason for this is because, and you guys may know this already, is a bee is a creature that man decided that it should not fly. Like it should not fly because the wings are too small for the body, or the body is bigger than the wings. And therefore, logically, it should not fly. But God says, oh yeah, it will fly, right? So it flies, it pollinates, it makes honey. Like, look at the miracle of the bee. So if the bee can, you can. And so I always talk about the bee, I always talk about wings, I have a thing for wings. But so when I think about our business, it actually has two wings, like two sides. And when I think about the bee, right, if it only has one part of it, it will be lopsided and it won't take off the ground. Same thing. If it has holes, it won't go very far. But if both wings are healthy, it will soar. It will fly. It will go from flower to flower, right? So let me just talk briefly about this side, and I've shared this with you, and some of you are new, so I'm gonna just kind of touch on it briefly. So one side is what I call your technical wing, okay? In technical wing, every job has a technical skill or a set of technical skills. So whether it's a teacher, you need to be able to create your lesson plan, you need to be able to teach, all of those things, right? In this business, our technical skill is being able to do a skincare class, being able to do an interview, being able to do closing the sale, being able to book. These are your technical skills. This is what makes up our core competency, and that's what they would describe it in the corporate world, your core competency. So you gotta like strengthen this side. This side is your heart wing, okay? This is all about relationship. Starts with you and God. What does that look like? You with yourself, because we are to love our neighbors as ourselves, right? And then loving others. What do your people skills look like? All of that stuff. This is where I have trouble, where I see a salesperson and they're really good at this and they stink at this and I run away. I don't want to deal with that person. I don't want to do business with that person. They scare me. They just want to take my money. I'm not connected with them. And so if this is lopsided, like if this is broken and you're really good at this, y'all, you're not going to take off. You might get an instant sale, but they're not going to come back. They're not going to refer you to people. They're not going to invite you for a second appointment and host a party and all of that good stuff. They will not. So you can be like the best technical person on this side, but I challenge you to actually connect on this side as well. And the reverse is true. You can be really good at loving people, man, like hug them all you want and spend time, look them eye to eye and make those connections. But if you can't sell charcoal mask, I'm so sorry. Your check is gonna be zero. Right? Like, isn't that true? So I would challenge you tonight, this week, and do an evaluation. One, what does this look like? Your coach can help you here. And when Megan says, let's role play, and she started to say, this is how you're coming across, she's moving on this side because she wants you to connect with that person. You know, the other thing too is, out of the heart, the mouth speaks, right? And so your filter, honestly, comes from what's in your heart. So I would do a heart check and say, what does that look like? How am I going to come across? When I'm under pressure, how do I treat people? So, right? And I'm saying this to you all because I recognize this about myself. I recognize that I had some broken parts. I recognize I had some holes. Like in the beginning, maybe I can bring this to the table, but man, I couldn't fly. This was me holding the brush. It would be like, Izzy, here, you take the brush, put the foundation, I'm gonna go on the other side. Like, that was me on this side. I had to get up to speed on this, and so I did some knee-to-knee work with Audrey and Megan. So I watched them work and connect with people, and then eventually I got my training wheels out, and then I took my training wheels off. I got, you know, more and more confident, and then to a point where I could actually coach somebody else to do the job. So I got really good at this, but at the same time I was working on this. So, team building requires both. Okay? Being a red jacket, being a team leader, a future DIQ requires both. So, I would encourage you guys to just really think about what would it mean for me to be a B and to earn this and walk across that national stage, a seminar stage with this diamond B. This is truly the symbol of Mary Kay. It is the bee, a creature that man said it's impossible, but God says it's possible. So there's that. Any questions on that? Do you guys have any comments? I just want to, before I kind of pull up my team building notebook. Was that helpful to kind of, okay, so I really want to just challenge you on that. Think about, list all of these technical skills that, you think that we need to make sure we're growing in the area. Get with your sales director and just like, let's do an assessment. You rate me, and then on this side, talk about how you're interacting with people. How do they respond to you when you talk to them? What aroma, what fragrance are you leaving behind? Do they want to just like get out of your space, or do they want to keep following you? That's a sign right there. If they keep following you, you're doing something good. But if you don't ever see them again, you may want to have, just a heart check in that, and just pray. Okay, so I want to just talk to you guys about this notebook. So, everybody's notebook can look different. I would make it personal to you, because then you can speak from a place of authenticity rather than somebody else's life. And I remember the first time Megan, I still remember this, Megan, when you opened that team building notebook, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, she literally described her goals, her life goals, all the way to like getting married, right? And I was like, I don't know of any 18-year-old that spent time thinking about their dreams and goals and asking God for it. I was impressed. So from that point on, it was like, wow, I want a team building notebook. So there is a section in audreymcdowell.com website. The password is leader. So if you haven't been on that, I would encourage you. And I always go to her favorites, and there's a section in there for team building. And so like this stuff, I'm gonna actually hand this to you guys. This is the first page of that team building notebook. So I'm gonna like make sure you guys have, so if you don't, then that's your first page right there. Okay, and I just use this. Comes from section 2 on In Touch, or so that's where I got it. This was like the flip chart book. So, or you can get something really cute and blingy if you want to. It's whatever tickles your fancy. So this is the first page of that of the interview, the team building notebook. So this basically, I would encourage you guys to practice saying these things out loud, getting to know you, and then company facts. So let me just read through this real quick. So if I am interviewing, someone like here, like if I'm gonna interview Emily, I would just, if you're not practiced, you're not gonna be relaxed. And it just doesn't flow. And, if you're coming from a facial and then you did what Megan did, it's like, Mrs. Perry, do you have 10 more minutes so I can show you the business plan? Then really throughout that facial, you're already sharing a piece of yourself, a piece of your journey, a piece about this company. Through that, you're actually going through the interview process already. So by the time she sits down with you, she should know a lot, honestly. And she should feel like she can trust you. So the first bullet is, but if you're coming in cold and you're meeting for coffee or something like that, then you're starting from scratch, and she needs to know you as much as you need to know her. And at the end of the day, you need to know what makes her heart beat. What is making her tick? What is it that she wants out of life? And so these questions will kind of get to that. So the first one, it says, please tell me about yourself. I would love to get to know you better. And if you're not used to saying those words, I would repeat it over and over again. Like, just look at yourself in the mirror and say, please tell me about yourself. I would love to get to know you better. Like, right? What do you value in your life right now? That's an amazing question. And these came from Pam Shaw, like Inner Circle National Sales Director Pam Shaw. What do you value in your life right now? And don't jump and respond for her. Just listen and write it down. You know, what do you need most? What do you most need in your life right now? So you're just asking the questions. If money and time were not an issue, how would you like to be living a year from now? And then this one is a mouthful, but if you practice it, it actually will flow naturally. Like Megan says this, so amazing.
I used to read right off of it though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can read right
You
off
can
of it.
read right
Feel
off of it.
awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Because you will feel awkward the first few times.
Yeah, if I could show you how to get what you need and keep what you value, is there any reason you wouldn't consider the Mary Kay opportunity as a gateway for that? Whoa, that's awesome, you guys. And then, what would you need to know about the Mary Kay opportunity in order to make a yes decision? So these are questions that you would want to ask. But if you're not practiced, it's gonna feel clunky, right? So just say it over and over again and read too. So all that to say, this is the first page. And so I have that in my book. And sometimes, you know, I've gotten to a point where I can just say these without even looking at them, and it's just a conversation. So, so from there, then she's telling you about herself, then you get to share a piece of yourself with her. And so I have a page here that actually, I have a picture. So I'll just talk about kind of about my family. So this is my current family page. I have a family. We love to go to the movies. We love being together. We are like geeky people. We love Marvel. We love Star Wars. So I'll just talk about some of those fun things. But we just literally love spending time together. And then my heartbeat is really all about growing women and developing them and pointing them to Jesus. That is like my heartbeat. But like on the tangible side, you know, someday I work hard, you guys. I work 10-hour days, and I would love to just be able to not do that and clock in, and to have the flexibility, the freedom to connect with women all over the world, to travel and spoil my husband and my kids, you know, do that over and over again without having to clock in. That is really my passion too. So these are the things I talk about. I talk about it like you're my best friend. I'm just pouring my heart out to you. So the other thing, so that is something that I would encourage you guys to have on your page, just for them to know that you're a real person, right? It gives them a chance to connect with you. You've got your family here or whatever. If, you know, if you're single, whatever it is that is important to you and what you're doing this for. And then I get into, so as you're listening, this is something that Megan shared during lunch, just a week and a half ago or something like that, right? Because she's so brilliant at her team building notebook. She should actually be teaching this class, not me. But I have 4 sheets, and I'm gonna explain them to you, and then I'll go back to how do I actually boil it down, because you wanna go through it pretty quickly. So I have a page on leadership and recognition. So, you know, I shared that, you know, this business, you get around leaders and you're recognized for your hard work, and I'm mentored by the top people in this company. And so here's a picture with me and Nathan Moore, the president of North America Sales. I have a selfie with Nathan Moore. Backstage on my way to pick up my bee, like, yes. I have a picture with all of our sales directors and OSU when I first became a sales director. This is my very first leadership conference. And then I have a picture of me and Kristen because we debuted together as a brand new sales director, and then the recognition. And of course I've got Ann over here when we went across the stage together, right? So this is a page, and I wrote leadership and recognition. And then I have a page of family rewards and adventure. So I have a page of that. This is a picture of my husband when he opened his Easter basket and pulled out the shirt that says Destination Red, because we earned our very first Mary Kay trip, all expenses paid, going to the Bahamas in just a few weeks, and to celebrate our 25th wedding anniversary. So I was able to surprise him with that on Easter Sunday and open his Easter basket. And then here's a picture of us and Megan and our, all of these amazing people that went to pick up the Mini Cooper, because of the reward that the company gives you and earning this car. And then a picture of me and my daughter. We love to spend time together, and New York City is one of the places that we love to travel. And because of this business, I have some extra cash that I can go take her on a weekend trip to New York City. So that's fun. So that's Family Rewards and Adventure. And then I have a page on sisterhood. So, some women are just dying for friendship and connection. They are depleted relationally, and they are hungry to be around, women that are godly, or women that are leaders, women that are caring. They just want to be in a community. And so we have I talk about our sisterhood. We have a book club that we just started. This is when we went to Virginia Beach or Hampton, Virginia at Career Conference this past year. And then this is our most recent. Some of you may recognize this, the picture that we took on our little black dress event. Like, it shows you that volume. And so this is a picture on sisterhood. And then the last picture I have is with Dr. Lucy Gildea. She's our Chief Scientific Officer. She's the one who approves all of the chemicals and formulas that go into every product that we have. Like, I got a selfie with Dr. Lucy, you guys. That is so awesome. She was a former officer at Oil of Olay, and she moved from Oil of Olay to Mary Kay, and she's the one who is actually, she understands women, she understands skin, and she's the one taking care of us and our customers. And then, of course, here's just a picture of that. So I show all this, and I don't typically will show every single page because it takes a long time, and I don't describe it to the extent that I do. But can somebody tell me what these pages represent? If you were kind of like cluing in on my titles. Yes.
I feel like it was the part that you read earlier about if I could show you how to keep what you value and get what you need, would you let Mary Kay be the way that you do that? Like,
yeah.
You're showing us how Mary Kay does that in your life.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So it does, it represents that, right? Well, the other thing too is, you guys, we're not all created equal. Some of us, if you've heard of personality types, if you've heard of DISC, right? The D is dominant, and they're like power and achievement. So if you're a D, you're like, like you're probably sitting here, like, this lady's talking too much. Just get to the bottom of it. Like, that's a D person. I'm just gonna
D's
go.
are laughing.
Yes. Yeah, I get it.
You're not actually. That was funny.
So this is all I'm gonna focus on, because that's all they're gonna care about. They don't care about all the other things. And then go, wow, okay, I can appreciate that. Like, I can get excited about that. Or if you're an I personality, the fun bucket, you're an influencer, you love the colors, you love, all of the party stuff, right? Yes, we love to laugh. Then you are gonna get into the Family Rewards and Recognition page. That is what I'm gonna show you. Because we have fun, we go on adventures, we do parties. If you are the S personality, you're the one who's more on the security, you're relational in nature. So that's typically the S personality. Then I just focus on the group. So I connect with you because I'm speaking your language, because now when you say this is what I value, it gives me a clue of the kind of person that you are, like your personality. I value this. So it's like, oh, I know which page I'm gonna go to. Because you want to speak their language. If they're a D and I'm talking about party, I've missed out. It's like she speaks Japanese and I speak English, and we've not connected. And your goal is to connect. So, and then if you're a C, cautious, you're very analytical in nature, you like all the numbers, I'm gonna show you our scientific officer.
Definitely green. No.
Yeah, and some of them have a combination too, so you can kind of clue in on those. So I would just think about what that looks like for you. How are you gonna connect with women? You know, this is just an example that I wanna show you that I've done. I've learned from Megan, because she has an amazing page, and she just walks through all of the personalities all in one page. And it's super effective. But I would encourage you to have an effective team building notebook. And then of course, it continues with, I would just encourage you to go on that website, but there's the avenues of income and the benefits that go with it. So you need to be able to talk through the avenues of income. And for me, what I do is I actually fold the paper when I'm showing them we're going through the workshop or filling the blanks. I fold it and I say the first half, I just show them this, because there's a lot of words in here. So I just show them the first part and I say, so, I always ask, do you know what our profit margin is? And of course most of them say no. And then you talk through the 50%, you work through the thing, and it's like, and so I said this side of the paper is instant money. Like you get to take home instant money. This is instant money. And then when we're done with that, I flip it over and I say, now this is the checks that you can also get from the company in addition to your instant money. So you can have both. You can have all of the above. So we work through that. And then of course the kit. Oh, I have my roll-up bag in my car. But so then of course what it takes to get started, and usually I whip out my roll-up bag, and my roll-up bag has all of the contents of the kit. And if I've done my job right, they've used most of the products in that kit. So I'm like, look, here's a miracle set that we just used that you said you loved. And guess what? You get not just one formula, but you get 2 of them. Like, how cool is that? And I talk about, do you know how much that is? And so if I haven't told them, so I say it's $110, and then $110 or $220 that's coming in your kit. And then I walk through, oh, and here's the sadness that we just did to pamper your hands. That's like a full-size, set for $36. And that comes in your kit. And then I said, did we take off your eye makeup with the eye makeup remover? And as I show them that, it's in my roll-up bag, and it's $15. And then I go on, I do mascara, and then I also do the CC cream, which we tried, and like all of that stuff is in your kit. Like, it's powerful. I whip up that roll-up bag, and then I said, guess how much that is? Like, how much does it cost to get started? And they're like, $350, $200. Like, it is so amazing. So this is a picture, but they're like, it's like $100. $100. Like, that is crazy. So if you want that miracle set, it's in the kit. So anyway, so there's that, and then we've got the closing interview questions that I would encourage you guys to practice. So just like closing the sale, you have, your skill set to close the sale, like Megan role played with you, then you role play with how to close the interview, so that then they will be part of your team when it's all said and done. So if you don't have a team building notebook, then I would encourage you guys to put one together. If you have a desire to be in your red jacket, to be a DIQ, to be in Orlando with us, you guys, because you can. I came back from seminar, I was a red jacket. I added 2 people in July, and then I added 2 more people in, 2 or 3 people in September, August or something like that. And then I submitted DIQ and finished becoming a sales director by the end of the year. But you need one of these, and you need a good coach, and you need to be practiced up. So with team building, I think that is it. I just wanted to share that with you guys.
Yeah. Yay.